Hello everyone, I'm Greg Otta with FedScoop TV, and welcome to our IT Modernization Hero Series. I'm talking with Richard McKinney, the CIO of the Department of Transportation. Richard, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. Good to be with you.
Can you share with our viewers a success story about how your agency has made significant headways in modernizing IT?
Well, I can tell you a pretty amazing story about an old application that we had that we moved to the cloud.
Okay.
And modernized it en route. We had an application called VIN lookup, which allowed a citizen to put the VIN number of their car in. And what that app would do is it would then go, VIN number tells, who's the manufacturer.
Right.
And so then the app would go to, say it was a GM car, go to GM, find that car, and bring back all the recall history of that car. So if you were trying to research the history of all the recalls of that make and model. And it was kind of a sleepy little town. I don't think typically it had more than 1,000 or a couple thousand visitors a day.
Okay.
It was a nice app, but it wasn't a heavy intersection. Recently, the Department of Transportation announced a recall of a substantial number of cars because of the Takata airbag.
Right.
You probably read about it in the paper. And what happened immediately is people went to see if their car was impacted. And the manufacturers had not yet populated their databases with the cars that were impacted. So right out of the gate, they couldn't get that answer.
Okay.
But that first surge to find an answer crashed the system. He had never seen traffic like that. So we knew we had a problem. We also, the manufacturer said, look, it's going to take us about 30 days to get our back-end systems populated with the information about which cars are actually, they have these airbags.
Okay.
So we knew we had a little bit of time. So we knew the app needed to be modernized and moved to a cloud platform that had the elasticity. So we did that. We moved it up to Microsoft's Azure cloud.
Okay.
We changed it, tested it, got it on a much more stable footing, and 3-4 weeks later, the Today Show did a story on the Takata airbags, and they put the URL on the screen, and 15 million people hit that application.
Nice.
And
okay.
It worked.
Good.
It didn't crash. It was a non-event, and the amount of infrastructure that we would have had to build ourselves to be able to have an application that could sustain that kind of traffic would have cost us millions and millions of dollars. And this cloud platform cost in the thousands. So saved a lot of money, met expectations, and so modernizing the app and moving it to the cloud proved to be saved our bacon.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So with the saving money part, leads me to my next question.
Sure.
The Obama administration and Tony Scott have this proposed bill for a $3.1 billion revolving IT modernization fund. What ideas does your agency have, or what types of systems are best suited for this fund if it is to become law?
Well, we're in the process right now of sort of inventorying of all of our legacy systems to try to figure out which ones would be a good candidate for the ones that we would like to apply. If the fund's established, the ones that we would put forth, make an application to the fund to fund the modernization and replacement of that system. We're not done with that inventory, but we're looking for systems where we think there's a potential savings because the thing about the fund is it's not like a grant. It's like a loan.
Right.
So you've got to pay back. So we're looking for systems that not only could use the modernization but have the potential to save money, demonstrably save money as the vehicle to repay the fund.
So with that, what is the biggest technology challenge you've encountered, or what has to change in order to accelerate IT modernization efforts?
Well, I think that Tony's idea about this fund is absolutely crucial,
Okay.
because trying to solve some of, the funding of these legacy applications in the traditional way of, through appropriations and program budgets and all of that is we have a number of apps that are long in the tooth, and it's because we haven't really been able to make the argument in the normal appropriation process for the funding to replace it. And that's how we end up kicking the can down the road with some of these applications, and that's how when they get older and older. And I'm looking forward to being able to make the case in front of a board of experts who, one, will understand, the technical approach that we're taking to do it, and then the ones that would understand which systems are worthy of investment.
So we've talked about the department's use of cloud computing. So advances in cloud computing, containerization, agile development, how have they factored into your plans looking out 12, 18 months down the road?
Well, they give us a whole toolkit that we never had before, and a totally different approach to application development and application rollout. It's just the cloud, as the story I told, illustrates, is, gives you that on-demand elasticity that you just don't get, that you can't afford to build for yourself. And as we do more and more applications, especially applications that face the public, you have to have that kind of elasticity. So the cloud gives you, the cloud can match the federal government's scale. That's one of the things that I've learned about the federal government is that differentiates us, let's say, from state and local, is our scale. Well, the cloud can meet us at that place, and frankly, can outscale us. When we were redesigning this application, this VIN lookup, I remember asking the cloud engineers, so, what do you think? Can you, is it possible to build something that would, meet this kind of demand? And they kind of looked at me like, you're not as big as you think you are, and this is not as difficult as you think it might be. Because the folks that, like Amazon and Microsoft and the others that have these cloud platforms, they're used to this kind of scale. And they'll meet the federal government where we are. And I think that's why it's so smart of us to be moving in that direction.
Interesting. Richard, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your insight.
You're welcome.